Hey YouTube, it's your girl Janina Love back with another video. Welcome back, welcome back. How are you doing, my busy bee? Staying busy, I hope. Keeping it sexy? Always. So, what am I doing today? As I fix my fro on camera. Can't ever get this even. That's just me. Crazy box. I heard a little birdie tell me that BoxyCharm was putting the Hipdot SpongeBob palette in its box next month, in October. So, this month. I was like, really? That's the second time that I purchased a palette months before it's released in BoxyCharm. Yeah, it's happened multiple times. I'm not gonna lie. I have two of the Rihanna's Fenty Moroccan Spice palettes, which I love, love, love. Don't get me wrong. And eventually we'll be passing on to one of you guys to love. And if I get another SpongeBob palette, which I have already got, I will be having a giveaway with that too. So I was like, might as well do another look with it. You've only used it a couple of times. Maybe we can even put in this as the revisited palette because you have not visited the palette since you've done a couple of looks. I only did like 2 looks, one on camera and one off. So I figured out let's do that. My face is already on pretty much, and I need to put some powder under my eyes because this palette does have a little kickback. How are my bees doing? Are you guys getting ready for Halloween at home? Because I am. I've got a couple of extra movies for the daytime. Because we're not doing anything scary. We're having a Jurassic Park. No. We picked Jumanji. The Jumanji Marathon. So we're going to be doing the original Jumanji. Then we're going to be doing the new versions of Jumanji that came out. Part 1 and 2. So this is the palette. She's super pretty. Like, every row can be its own look. You can go across and use a couple of extras. I mean, there's not very many mattes. I mean, there is mattes, don't get me wrong. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 shimmer glitter blend type shadows. But there's no black. And you know, our dark brown, that's like our go-to to start our eyes. So let me grab one of those. I don't have a black up here at all, I think. But I do have a rich brown. And I have these little Ozo palettes. Orzi palettes from Ipsy. Orzia. I got these here with me. And I also got, I believe, the James Charles palette sitting up here. So I'm going to start out light, and I think I'm going to use this brown because it's a lighter brown all over the lid. Yeah, I've already started digging out some things. So what I picked for the daytime, or at least when my granddaughter comes over, the Dollar Tree had a bunch of great cartoons out. So I picked up my favorite guy, Curious George, Boo Fest, which is a really cute one, because that's the one where they talk about the tree with the pumpkin and how the hat would blow away, and they just knew that it was haunted because of that hat blowing away, or you know, something like that. And it's just a little cute movie. I also picked up a Sesame Street one. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but I know she's gonna love it because Sesame Street always has, it is a classic, the old classic Sesame Street with Count Dracula. So you see, I kind of just built up my crease and made it a little higher, you know, make it nice. And because I love the palette, don't get me wrong, it just doesn't have enough base colors for me. Usually you would never hear that because I'm not a neutral girl. But you gotta have at least a base color, neutral color that is gonna be helpful to my shade. So it's like, come on. Uh, palette's gorgeous, but I had to add a couple extra to get close to my shade. So this is just a clean brush, and I'm gonna blend that out all over the eye and let it be darker on the outside than the inside. Also, I've been doing something kind of kooky. With my Ipsy, I got this Yanza bronzer, and I'll show it to you. You see how light that is? For my fair skin sisters, this would be perfect for you. For me, it is perfect for a foundation shade. And that is what I've been doing with it, using it as foundation. It goes on very light cream. It came with its own brush, and as you're using it, it just shears out to powder. And I really, really like that. So I've been doing that with that palette. So with this flat brush, I'm going to pick up some black from the James Charles palette, just because I want some super darkness, smokiness. And just put that in a little triangle above and below the crease. Or in the crease, just a little bit above. Give me a little bit more depth and definition. I usually don't do black. I have not in a long time, because I'm used to these, like, there's like a super dark grape brown in the James Charles palette. I like using that sometimes. But today I was like, you know what, these colors, I was going to use the Morphe Black Primer. I was just honestly thinking that it needed some kind of black. Because with the white, it pops, don't get me wrong. But it's not pop-in, you know, it pops by itself. So just adding, I thought adding a little darkness will give it a different type of pop. Which that does happen, because, you know, a lot of, sorry, my nose itches. A lot of different brands will tell you to wet their stuff now. Like that Caliente palette, I so wanted that and didn't get it in the BoxyCharm. It tells you when to use it dry and when to use it wet. So that you know what kind of experience you're going to get. If you wanted to make it shine more, that's basically, it tells you what to do. And I thought that was really cool. And so does La Bombe Cosmetics. They have their black primer in their palettes, some of their palettes, to make their colors pop. Or to change the color of the duochromes. That's what it was. It changes the colors of the duochrome. So yes. So that is a beast to blend out, the black from the James Charles palette. I won't be using that next time. But it is blending out and blending in to what I expected it to be, you know? Because it's going to cover it anyways. We just want it to be richer. I'm going to cover it anyways. And I'm going to cover it with this dark, rich purple in the SpongeBob palette. Just to give that color a little bit more depth. Because it's all shimmer. Can you see that? It's all shimmer and it still gives a little depth. So it's really pretty. I'm going to tap it on dry, and then I'm going to go over it wet, I think. Just to have it stand out more under these lights. And it blends out like a dream. It's coming off the brush as it would normally for someone who doesn't have, you know, super aging eyes with a lot of little wrinkles and textures. That's something I'm looking for. I've heard of some products that are called 360 that you can use on your eye, since we use a lot of eye creams under our eyes. But I wonder if there's something that can help me tighten up that upper eye a little bit. That way, but then again, it's like natural, it's beautiful, it's me. Um, the only person complaining is me, you know, so that's just it. But we all have that insecurity, you know. And honestly, I don't think I need to wet it at all. That that's glass right there. That's beautiful. And I'm gonna go into the lightest purple shimmer shade that's in here. Put that in the front 1/3 of the eye. Whew, she's shining. I always think of Moana when that happens. Yes. My granddaughter loves when I bust out in song about nothing. I hope you guys don't mind. Because sometimes I feel it. Like the other day I was on Instagram Live. And not my live, but watching other people's lives. And a song came over on the radio. And I was singing. Oh, don't get me wrong. Every time Donnie Wahlberg is on there, I'm a please don't go girl kind of attitude. Um, anything for Donnie's attention. And a girl, I'm like, please, please, just me. Alright, I'm going to go into Tree Dome, which is the lightest shimmer in the palette. And put that in my first 1/3. Because there's like barely any shadow there to like enhance it. It does and it doesn't look like it's there, but it's there. And it's a perfect layer, honestly, for the purples to be beaming and it's not taking over the purples. Which is a good thing because, you know, purples first. Woo! Now that one came out bright. So let's go over this one again. Just a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you guys hear me okay, because sometimes I have the air conditioner on, I have my fan on, and I want to make sure you hear me good. And if you cannot, if my voice is low or muffled at any time because I want to be able to pronunciate and be heard, please let me know in the comments below because it's just really important to me. I did buy a microphone to attach to this, to my phone that I'm recording on, just in case, because that is one of my biggest complaints, not just for myself, but for others. I'll be like, I really cannot hear you, and that's really only because I cannot in my household wear headphones. So I cannot wear them because I got to hear everything that's going on with my kids. And then when I do wear headphones, if I do wear them in a late night tip where everybody's sleeping, I got to be really careful not to fall asleep with them on myself. So I can hear everything, as I'm waking up, because I have done that. I've slept with them. I brushed one in my eye, and it feels like something's in my eye now. I have fallen asleep with my headphones on, and it's just not. It's not the business to be doing that, especially when, anybody can show up at your house, and that's usually what happens, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to use the gold in the palette, put some setting spray, and drag that bad boy underneath my eye. And I'm using an angled brow type brush from Morphe because this one doesn't have a spindle at the end, so I like using this for like liner and whatnot. It pops, but it doesn't like pop you upside your head. Maybe I need to mix it with the yellow itself. I don't know. I just want it to be yellow because I'm wearing my camp SpongeBob shirt, my camp coral shirt with everybody being babies on it, and I want it to represent with a little bit of that gold at the bottom. That's all. Just a little bit of gold. Ooh. I think it's because I'm going really close to my waterline. Which is fine, but, you know, it becomes the crying game after a while. Almost touching your eye and stuff. And don't forget, when it's wet, you know, you let it do its thing, and then when it's dry, you go back over it. But I'm not going to go over it again, because there's too much fallout. And it's going to mess up my look. I'm not going to do that. But here's the palette one more time for reference. And I used this rich dark purple and this purple with this gold under the eye and this shimmery color in the inner 1/3. And then it's really pretty, and I hope they do put it in the BoxyCharm, because I would love for everyone to try it. It is a really, really, really unique color story as far as the shimmers go, if you like shimmers like me and you like colors. So to finish off the eye, I'm going to put on some Pixie Dust lashes in the style #36. And I'm going to put on a very festive lip, and I'll be right back. Wow, I am amazed by these lashes. They have, the way the band is set up, they're flicked. So not like, I don't know how to explain it, like they're already ready, curled upwards, so you don't have to worry about curling them. They're just like perfectly flicked already. Does that make sense? Like, I've never felt a band, and then they're like crisscross this way, so that they're flicked, you know. And then I'm using a new lash glue. I found it at the Dollar Tree. It's the Tony. You know, they got a whole makeup line, and I had to get 2 of them, because if you look at it, it's only filled halfway. So I had to get 2 of them so that I had one to use and one as a backup in case it worked. And it worked. I mean, and I also, these lash glues that don't seem to work for me, I'm starting to see a pattern where I could use them as glitter glue, you know? But wow, like, that flick is gold. Oh, I got my top coming out again. But it is, that flick is gold, you guys, you know that. When you're wearing lashes, you want that little flick so it's not all up in your eye. Tonight I really feel like a doll. Wow. I'm all amazed by myself. Really want to get that one straight. I may have to trim up a little more to get it straight right there. But what did you think? Are you excited for the Hipdot to maybe hit BoxyCharm next month, or this month in October? I definitely am. I am definitely excited for Hipdot, because it's an indie brand. It is a very expensive indie brand, but it is an indie brand. And right now they got a new SpongeBob glitter palette out for $16. They've got some sheet masks for $6 and some sponges. And I mean, that's if you want those kinds of accessories. I personally, the Hipdot collection I got was a $55 collection, and it came with the palette, which is perfect find, right? A really good find. And then it came with a palette of Sandy Cheeks highlights, and it has a mirror. And the highlights aren't that bad either. You know, they're no Oprah, but they're not glitter on your face. It also came with 3 lippies, and it came with, what is this? Open in here. Oh, it also came with a sculpting cheek and oh, come on out. We're running out of time, you know. Gotta be on that time. I don't like y'all to be stuck. But it came on a cheek palette where you get the contour and blush. And that worked out. It works out for me too. And I was like, wow, this is pretty good for me to be able to use literally everything in a mystery box. Or not a mystery box, but in a box that I really do love and will recommend. For $55, you can't go wrong. It's like literally 5 products. 5, let me see, 1, 2, so there's 4 things. That's what, $11, $12 each was free shipping. So that's awesome. On my face, I'm using in the highlight, y'all, I'm actually using a Hikari, which I've never used before. I mean, who am I? Who is this? This is an expensive all-in-one palette that I got in my Ice Cream Beauty palette box. And I'm using the blush and the highlight. That highlight, though. The blush is very, very, very fuchsia. It's coming off very light pink. But no, your girl is like super fuchsia pink. I had to use a little bit of my bronzer to dull it down because it was woo, okay? But I am wearing a very hot lip. It is also, I believe, Hikari. It's in, no, it's Carmela in Aloha. And I figured it was fitting for Patrick. You know, bright pink for Patrick. I think I'm going to change it to a purple, though, just because I love to mix and blend my purples. But that is it, my busy bees, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. I love you all to pieces, like chocolate chips. And be good to each other. I'm going to tell you every time, do something good for yourself, do something good for someone else. You don't know how big of a change that is in someone's life. Really quick before we before we leave the video, I can tell you really quickly, I went to the Dollar Tree to go check out, you know, what new finds I can find, and that's when I found that the glue from Tony. And I picked up a cold sandwich combo and a soda just for the gentleman outside that looked like he was so hot and tired and hadn't had anything to eat. I also bought him some baby wipes and some deodorant and some gum, because, you know, not always are you able to get to the toothbrush, and a 6-pack of water, so that he had a little thing, a little goodie bag to clean up, eat, feel better about himself. And I can tell it made a big difference. He jumped up like he was going to hug me, and I had to stop him and be like, you know what, it'd have been a different situation if we weren't dealing with the pandemic right now. But right now we're dealing with a pandemic. And he respected that and let it go. And that brightened my day and brightened my night. So do something good for yourself and do something good for someone else. You will make a difference. Stay busy, my busy bees, and keep it sexy. Love you. See you in the next one.